Hello there. I'm a British person, as you can tell, and therefore one must always make sure that one has tea with one. Um, this is something that you don't tend to expect in foreign parts like the United States or Mexico. So the story relates to when I first traveled to Monterey. I traveled to JFK or Newark Airport. I can't remember which one it happened to be. And then I took my flight on to Houston, and my plan was to see what Texas was all about. Cross Texas from Houston to San Antonio via Greyhound bus, that great classic of US travel, which is really a terrible thing compared to Mexican buses and even compared to National Express in Britain. So traveled across to San Antonio to see things like the Alamo, which isn't really that impressive compared to when you've seen the movie of the Alamo with Richard Widmark and John Wayne, etc. Quite tiny place. Actually, I had to ask for where it happened to be, and I was standing outside the thing. Anyway, then headed off down to Monterey by bus. And so started my first enjoyment of Mexico. Now, the thing is, it was tea that caused a bit of a problem when I landed in New York. You could say I was to blame in many ways, and in the complete event, really. And that problem I caused was down to the way that I packed things. You see, rather than take boxes of tea with me, like boxes of 50 Yorkshire tea or maybe PG tips, I don't know. I decided to put all of these bags into a nice plastic bag. I could compress it and put it in my hand baggage. After all, who wants to lose their tea if you put it in the suitcase? But I also like green tea, so I packed an amount of green tea also in a plastic bag, compressed it so it would all fit nicely into my hand luggage. Well, I was going to be there for 3 weeks. I should have enough tea. 50 tea bags should have been enough. And about a quarter of an ounce, a quarter of a pound of green tea should have lasted me for the 3 weeks. Yeah, you could lose your clothes, but who wants to lose their tea? Anyway, so I'm standing there in security, watching all the bags go through the scanner, and it came to my bag, and the security agent kind of stopped when my bag went through with my innocuous bags of tea, and I think it might have been the bag of green tea that kind of sparked the problem. Yeah. The agent said, "Excuse me, sir, what are these?" And I innocently said, "Tea." And out he took my bag of tea bags, and he took out my bag of green tea. How this caused a problem, I have no idea. I mean, it was an innocent bag of tea. I mean, if you see a bag like that passing through your X-ray machine, what's the problem? Well, for me it wasn't. For him, it seemed to be. So as he took the bag out, I could almost hear the slap of latex gloves behind me and the hot breath of a Labrador against the back of my legs. Thankfully, he believed me. Well, he did kind of check the contents, and there was no Labrador going mental, and there was no smell of anything other than tea. I think the agent said something like, "Please, sir, don't do this again." And I haven't since. Anyway, I kind of did the similar thing when I went to Malta, as I was competing in an archery event there. And when the agent pulled out and said, "What's this?" and I said, "Tea bags," his answer was, "You do realize this is Malta, and we do sell tea, don't you?" Well, British did kind of occupy Malta for some time, so it's no surprise that there is tea and 3-pin sockets and 240 volts and very good beer too. Anyway, this is one of those many tales and stories that you'll find in my book Mexican Notes, which should be available, hopefully, in December. Look out for it on Amazon. Bye for now.